We're back for our Week 9 NFL Best Bets here on the channel. This is for spreads and money lines. Later today at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, we'll have our 5 best player props for the NFL Week 9 slate. But of course, right now, we're going to have our best bets for money lines and spreads for Sunday, and we do have one for Monday Night Football as well. Now, folks, before we get into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more NFL content here on the channel. Every Tuesday, we post our weekly NFL predictions, and that is linked in the description down below. All games this week were talked about in that video, so go make sure to check that out after you're done watching this one. And also on the channel, folks, daily, our weekly college football predictions, daily NBA best bets, and now let's go on to the first of our 5 best bets for this Week 9 NFL season, kicking things off with fading the Texans again. I know, we do it all the time, all right? I see the Texans and I immediately go fade most of the time, and I know they're at home. I know Houston's a better team at NRG Stadium than they are on the road, but I'm going to fade them here. I'm going with the Denver Broncos. Guys, I fully believe in Denver, and ultimately, that's what it comes down to. Is this about me thinking the Texans aren't very good? No, it's really more about the Denver Broncos. And the fact when the Denver Broncos are playing elite offense and when Bo Nix is playing extremely well, when they have the run game going with J.K. Dobbins, with R.J. Harvey, they are so difficult to beat because of, on top of that, just how good the defense is. Now, I know Pat Surtain is out for about a month. That sucks. That defense is good not just because of one guy, it's good because of the entire unit. Yes, Surtain is the best defensive player in the National Football League, but they still have a very solid core around him, and I think they're going to be okay. Guys, don't look now, the Denver Broncos have won 5 consecutive games, beating the Bengals, beating the Eagles, beating the Jets, Giants, and just last week, scoring 44 points and out-dueling the Dallas Cowboys over in Denver 44-24. And that offense shows up, and I get it, the Dallas Cowboys have a horrible defense, they can't stop anything, I get that, but Bo Nix plays an excellent game. J.K. Dobbins, second 100-plus rushing yard game of the year. Troy Franklin is a big breakout day as Dallas looked to really take away Courtland Sutton. Well, Troy Franklin emerges 89 receiving yards, ties a season high for him this season. Denver's at 6-2. I love the spot on the road. Now, as for the Houston Texans, they're a 3-4 team. All their games at home this season have been competitive. I understand. Victories against the Tennessee Titans and against the San Francisco 49ers, and a very competitive Monday Night Football game against Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yet, I still like Denver in this spot. I think the defense of the Broncos is really going to hold down C.J. Stroud and whatever the hell Houston tries offensively. It's a confusing offense at times. No, I'm not going to lie to you. The Texans look the best they've had all year long last week. And you can say, oh, they looked really good in Baltimore. Yeah, they beat down an injured Ravens team, and I understand. You can say the same exact thing about the San Francisco 49ers. But for them to do it in that fashion, and for the defense to hold Mac Jones and company to that amount of points, and to the point too, like that was a competitive game late still, and Houston found a way to win and close and pick up the victory. I thought it was their best win of the season, through the injuries as well as Houston's playing with. Now, the injury report right now for the Texans is long, and it really starts with the receiver position. You've got 3 receivers plus your tight end who are all banged up. Nico Collins, I think, should be back this week, so he had a concussion, did not play last week. I expect Collins to be back. Christian Kirk is questionable with the hamstring injury, and Braxton Berrios is questionable with the chest injury. Normally I wouldn't think that'd be the biggest deal, but no, Berrios is playing quite a bit. He had 5 catches in the Texans win over the San Francisco 49ers. Along with that, Dalton Schultz did not practice all week long. I think it's kind of doubtful, honestly. I know he's still questionable. I don't think Dalton Schultz is going to play. That's all right. I think Denver is going to take away, though, whatever this offense is going to throw at them. Now, the Texans, the run game's been a big concern all year long, and Woody Marks, I think, has emerged as that top back. I know they are pretty, they're pretty insistent on playing Nick Chubb and, letting Chubb run. I think Marks is so much better. Yeah, Marks might not break off the same amount of tackles Nick Chubb can, but Woody Marks can get into open field. He can break one off, and I really think if I'm Houston, I'm going to Woody Marks permanently as the lead back, and he gives you that pass-catching ability as well. Marks had a pretty good game last week against the San Francisco 49ers. Of course, Joe Mixon still looms over this entire situation. I don't really expect Joe Mixon to ever come back this season, honestly, or maybe not till the very end of the year, but at that point, I believe that job is going to be fully secured by Woody Marks. But if I'm Denver, right, this is not a bad run defense. Pass coverage, pass defense too, I don't think it's that bad for Denver either. It's a Houston offense that has had their nights, but as a whole, they've struggled this year. And I think, you match them up against potentially, I believe, the best defense in the National Football League. I know Green Bay's right there too, but matching them up against the best, Green Bay sometimes. The past Their pass coverage is lacking sometimes, but their pressure is really great. Anyways, the Colts actually play pretty good defense too. Regardless, though, I think the Broncos might have the best defense in the National Football League, and I think they're going to show that this week against Houston. And offensively, right, Bo Nix, the last 5 quarters the Denver Broncos have played have been superb, right? I know they're down 30-something, they're down 20-something points against the New York Giants in Denver. They go out there and score 33 points in the fourth quarter. And then against the Dallas Cowboys, all 4 quarters, working the ball up and down the field. Bo Nix looks excellent. The run game, again, it's not just J.K. Dobbins. R.J. Harvey, the rookie out of Central Florida, has also been really good. And if you can just add another receiver, like, again, we know what Sutton can do. We know Sutton's the number one. If Troy Franklin continues to produce like he did against the Dallas Cowboys, you're looking at a dangerous Denver Broncos team. I said at the very beginning of the season, it was ridiculous. Their odds to make the playoffs were where they were at. That was one of our season-long plays. And our season-long props right now are looking pretty good, by the way. Denver Broncos make the playoffs. Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win the division, and Los Angeles Rams to win the division. I get it; the Rams are a little, the Seahawks and the Niners are there, but I'm liking our season-long props right now, and I'm liking the Denver Broncos this week. Give me Denver Broncos money line on the road in Houston. We get it at plus money, absolutely. Plus 105 for the Denver Broncos to beat the Houston Texans. On to our second best bet of the video. Let's go to another game in the early morning slate. Let's go to Peyton Manning's other team in the best team currently in the National Football League. That, of course, is the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, why wouldn't I take Indianapolis here? Guys, I've watched the way Pittsburgh's defense has played all year long, shredded by Jordan Love in the fourth quarter. Joe Flacco and the Bengals dominate Pittsburgh's defense throughout that entire Thursday Night Football game. And I know what you might say, well, Green Bay's really good. They are. And the Bengals have a good offense when they're firing on all cylinders and not, if they're playing Jake Browning. Well, the Indianapolis Colts are the best offense in the National Football League. You have trouble with those teams, I guarantee you, you will have trouble with the Indianapolis Colts, because no one has been able to solve this equation that is Indiana Jones, Tyler Warren, Jonathan Taylor, and Michael Pittman just yet. Nobody solved it, okay? In every game that they have played, they've been dominant. And they should be undefeated right now if A.D. Mitchell didn't throw the ball at the back of the end zone on his big 80-yard touchdown, okay? This would be an 8-0 football team. But regardless of that, they're 7-1. They're the best team in the National Football League right now. Probably the AFC, and I believe, is going to go through Lucas Oil Stadium. I believe they will host the AFC Championship game, likely against the Kansas City Chiefs, and I think they will win the AFC Championship game against the Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, that's how much faith I have in Indianapolis right now to go to the Super Bowl and potentially win the Super Bowl. They are just that good. The defense is playing lights out, and I mean, it's difficult to beat this team when the offense literally scores every single time they touch the ball. And we went over it earlier in the week about how many weapons this team truly has. Yes, you can look at the premier guys, and obviously Jones, Jonathan Taylor, Tyler Warren, Michael Pittman. But there are so many other receivers that can make a difference. Alec Pierce, Josh Downs. We go after A.D. Mitchell quite a bit, but he can make a play. Mo Alley Cox, the other tight end. These guys can make plays, and the Colts probably have the best offensive line in the National Football League as well. I mean, it is a very great team. Amir Abdullah, who I thought was kind of done, is making an impact as well as the second back for the Colts. In every game they've played so far this year, they have put it on the opposing defense. There's only been one game all year long where they have not scored 29 points, and that was against the Rams, in a game in which they should have won if Mitchell, again, doesn't throw the ball at the back of the end zone. And what they do last week to the Tennessee Titans, it's Tennessee. I don't care, okay? If you can get Michael Pittman playing like that every single week, he is, when Pittman plays like that, and when Pittman actually gets targets like we saw in the Carson Wentz era in Indianapolis, in the short-term Matt Ryan and Gardner Minshew eras, if you can actually get Pittman the ball and force the ball to Michael Pittman, he will make plays. That one-handed grab on the pass interference in the end zone against the Tennessee Titans, that Pittman still comes down with. The ball gets batted in the air, and Pittman, while being wrapped up, ball gets batted, he still comes down with the football and secures the grab. That's what he can do when you actually give him the football. And you have him, you have Tyler Warren, and you have, of course, Alec Pierce, who's one of the best deep ball threats in all the National Football League. And I can't talk about the Colts without talking about a guy who probably should right now be number one in the MVP race. He's not going to win it because he's not a quarterback. It's Jonathan Taylor. The season Jonathan Taylor is having right now is beyond absurd. 850 yards, 12 touchdowns rushing-wise, and he's got receiving yards on top of that, 200 receiving yards, plus 2 more touchdowns. It's absurd what he's doing. He's the best running back in the National Football League. About Pittsburgh, again, we're taking the Colts to cover 2.5 points here at Acrisure, or whatever the hell they call it, stadium. Pittsburgh's lost back-to-back games, and they're no longer the favorites, or they've never really been the favorites to win the AFC North. It is still the 2-win Baltimore Ravens, I guess 3 wins after Thursday night. I'll tell you this, I'm recording this video actually right before Thursday Night Football, so I don't know what happened in that game. It doesn't really matter. But Pittsburgh, back-to-back losses to the Cincinnati Bengals and to the Green Bay Packers. 2 games where the offense scores, but especially in that Green Bay game, a game where their offense stalled every single time they got over midfield. And, they still scored 25 points. 12 of those points are 50-yard field goals from Chris Boswell, so if you had Boswell in fantasy, shout out to you. But, that they don't really get too deep in a scoring position. They scored a late touchdown. It wasn't that great of a performance. They scored 25. They were winning for most of the game, and the Packers put it on them in the fourth quarter, and the offense was never really going against Green Bay. And I get it, the Packers D is good. They put the Bengals before that, lost by 2 points thanks to a game-winning drive by Joe Flacco. But yikes, man. I don't think the offense will show up like this because they're going to need to score against the Colts. And this defense, again, I always say this every single week about the Steelers, and it's true. This is not the Steelers defense you're used to. This is not the shutdown Pittsburgh D that doesn't give up points and their offense only needs to score 20 points and they're going to win the football game. That's just not what happens with Pittsburgh anymore. And Indianapolis will score. They score against everybody, and they're going to put a lot of points in everybody. You know how much I rave about the Denver Broncos defense? Indianapolis put up 29 points in them and won the football game. And Daniel Jones threw for 300-plus yards, and Jonathan Taylor ran for 165 yards. And that's probably the best defense in the National Football League. What the hell is Pittsburgh going to do against this team? Pittsburgh gives up points every single week. We've seen it in back-to-back weeks now, and their offense, simply put, is not good enough to keep up with the Colts. I don't know if any offense in the National Football League, other than potentially the Detroit Lions, are able to keep up with the Indianapolis Colts. That's what I think the Super Bowl is going to be right now. Anyways, it's going to be Indianapolis Colts minus 2.5 on the road in Pittsburgh, minus 125 for Indiana Jones and the Colts. We move on now to our third best bet of the video. Let's move to the afternoon slate. We only actually have one best bet for the afternoon slate. I'll say it now. I got close to taking the Buffalo Bills, but you know what? I can't trust that team enough, okay? I think they win because the Bills always beat the Chiefs in the regular season, only to just lose in the playoffs, and I kind of think that's going to happen again. It's at Orchard Park this week. I'm not trusting that team. Instead, yes, I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars to cover 2.5 points in Las Vegas against the Raiders. This is a couple things, guys. This is the Jaguars are severely underrated, and the Las Vegas Raiders, for some reason, are getting too much respect. I don't know why they're getting so much respect. There's a chance Max Crosby doesn't play this week, by the way. There's a very definite chance Crosby does not play. He's got a back injury and a knee injury. He's got multiple injuries going on. Okay, the Raiders may be the worst team in the National Football League. And yes, worse than the Titans. Oh, they beat the Titans. I don't care. They might be worse than the Titans. I think if the Jets and the Raiders play right now, I think maybe the Jets win. The Raiders are so awful, and I hate to say this, it starts with Geno Smith. It starts with Geno Smith. It starts with the offensive line. One of the worst offensive lines in football. And Geno Smith, I hate to say this, and it's so weird because they torched the Patriots in week 1, and Geno threw for 360 yards, but Geno Smith is the worst starting quarterback in the National Football League. He might be. You're hard-pressed to really give me an alternative option to that. Look at the way Geno's playing this year. It hasn't been good, and it's a shame, but, Geno Smith this season, 1,400 yards, 7 touchdowns, 10 picks. And yet, getting into Allegiant Stadium for a football game is still $200+ because Raiders. Actually, this week, only $60 to watch the Jaguars? That's an all-time low. Maybe I should go to Vegas this week and watch a game. $60? That's crazy. You're not going to find a game that's under 200 for the rest of the year. That's insane. Anyways, that's actually wild. No, legitimately. I kind of want to go to Vegas this weekend now. Anyways, the Raiders are horrible. They don't block for Genti. And all fairness to Geno, he's got no time to throw the ball, but he makes the most questionable decisions once he throws the football too. And why is this team only 2.5-point dogs when they've won 2 games all year long? And the Patriots win in Foxborough is a fake victory. It's fake. I don't care, okay? As we've seen, the Raiders aren't that good, and the Patriots aren't at that level of being bad, okay? It's a fake game. Raiders, since beating the Patriots, lost to the Chargers, lost to the Commanders, lost to the Bears, lost to the Colts in Indianapolis, 40-6, lost to the Titans, or beat the Titans, but is that really a win? And then got shut out at Arrowhead against the Chiefs, 31-0, where Geno Smith threw for 67 yards. Are we serious? Aiden O'Connell's coming back very soon. Kenny Pickett is the backup quarterback. Do you give Kenny Pickett a chance? I don't know. I know it probably doesn't get much better with Pickett at quarterback, but at this point, do you try? And I've said this so many times, too, this team's locked to Geno for the next 3 seasons. Oh, man. For the Jacksonville Jaguars, coming off a bye week, and I'm okay with this, losing in London to the Rams and getting blown out, it is what it is. Lawrence threw for 300 yards, and I get it. The Jags went to a point in that game where they were just completely pass only mode. Travis Hunter had his best day as a pro, 100+ yards, and he's, playing fairly good defense against Devontae Adams, for a rookie as well. Jacksonville's 4-3. They were at a point in the season where they were 4-1, ran into back-to-back NFC West squads in the Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams. Lost both of them, but I'm here to say the Jags have a much more manageable schedule here. They get the Raiders this week. They get the Texans next week. How many games at home do the Texans get? Anyways, honestly, I think they should go to Houston and win next week. I think they'll beat Vegas, obviously, this week as well. Los Angeles, they might beat the Jags getting the Chargers going across country. Maybe. They'll definitely win in Arizona, in my opinion. They'll win in Tennessee. I mean, at worst, you go 4-1, I believe, in this stretch, and you're looking at 8-4. I mean, I really don't think we should be too down on Jacksonville. Don't forget, they have a tiebreaker over the Kansas City Chiefs, if need be. They're not going to win the division because the Colts are the best team in the National Football League right now, but I'm looking at a 10-win floor for the Jaguars. And if you can just steal one against Colts, either or Chargers, you could potentially be looking at 11 wins for the Jaguars. But I'm looking at a win over Vegas, win over Houston, a victory over the Titans, a victory over the Cardinals, Jets, and Titans. Okay, they have 4 wins right now. That's 6 more. That gets them to 10-7. That might get you in the playoffs. If you can get one more, steal a game off the Colts. You get a home and home, obviously, against the Colts. Steal one in Denver, maybe. Take that game against the Chargers at home. You're looking at 11 wins, and you're looking at the playoffs this season for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I don't think all hope is lost right now for this team. This should still be a very motivated bunch coming off a bye week. And I know the Raiders are coming off a bye week too, but Jags coming off a bye week. You're 4-3. You have a chance to go to 5-3 with the big victory this week. And I think they're absolutely going to get it. Guys, the Jags defense is so underrated. Oh, the Rams scored 35 points to them. The Rams do that to pretty much everybody. Yeah, they didn't to Baltimore, but still, the Rams are really good. Guys, the reason at the beginning of the season I told you they were going to win the NFC West, and I was very confident they were going to do so, like plus 200 odds, okay? The Rams are a good football team, and I'm not taking any other answer for that. I watched Jacksonville. The defense is still very solid. It's still very solid. Look at how they play against Seattle. And how JSN's been torching defenses. And sure, JSN kind of torches Jacksonville too. Seahawks only scored 20 points. Yeah, the Jags only scored 12, but that's neither here or there. Their defense stands up against the Niners, plays all right against the Chiefs. Obviously, a huge pick 6 from Lloyd in that game. I got to go Jacksonville here. What do the Raiders offer the Jags? The Jags have a very underrated defense, and the offense, I think, can come together coming off the bye week with Lawrence, with Etienne, with Brian Thomas, with Travis Hunter. I got to go Jacksonville here. And 2.5 points, that's just not enough. Again, the Jags can win by a field goal, and we'd take it. The Jags have not won by less than a field goal all year long, so if they win the game, they are most likely going to win by more than 2.5. So I got to go Jacksonville Jaguars spread this week on the road at Allegiant Stadium against, Pete Carroll. Oh, by the way, Tyler Lockett will make his debut. Ooh, it's an unction. Ooh, in Vegas, don't care. Jacksonville Jaguars minus 2.5 in Las Vegas this week. Give me T-Law and the Jags. Next up, we go to Sunday Night Football, and yes, might be a hot take, might be a controversial take. I'm taking Commanders +3. I'm doing it. I'm taking Commanders +3. It's a spot where you do not expect the Commanders to be all that set for, and they're going to shock a lot of people and cover here against the Seahawks. Dare I say they win. Now, Jaden Daniels is healthy. Jaden Daniels is fine. Now, no Terry McLaurin this week, which really sucks. All right, let's go Deebo Samuel. Let's go Deebo. Let's go Chris Moore. Zach Ertz, that sucks. No Terry this week. But getting Jaden Daniels back changes everything, in my opinion. It absolutely changes the entire game. All right, no disrespect to Marcus Mariota, but Marcus Mariota is not at a point in his career where he can carry a team to victory anymore. And that's honestly what Washington kind of needed last week. But don't forget, all right, that defense of the Commanders plays very well in the first half. Bobby Wagner picks off Patrick Mahomes. Hell, the Commanders defense picks off Patrick Mahomes multiple times in that football game. And the Commanders have multiple opportunities deep into Chiefs territory where they just can't convert. They have a turnover on downs. They turn the ball over. It is what it is. Washington, the final score shows it as 28-7 for the Kansas City Chiefs. Washington actually did not play that poorly that game. Now, they need to establish a run game because, truth be told, they don't have a run game right now. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt had a career day in Los Angeles and a big victory, the last victory, by the way, for the Commanders in Inglewood against the Chargers. He wins Tom Brady's LFG Player of the Week, and he hasn't really shown that since. And yeah, the Commanders had a really, I thought, almost season-altering loss on Monday Night Football against the Chicago Bears, just like how last year the Bears had a season-altering loss in Landover, Maryland. Maybe that's going to be Washington this season. I hope the Commanders don't lose 11 straight games. But anyways, right, it's a game they had. They were going to beat the Bears, and they choked it away, and Jake Moody hits a game-winning field goal. After that, right, back-to-back losses against the Dallas Cowboys and against the Kansas City Chiefs. Maybe I have too much faith and too much hope in Jaden Daniels, but I do believe Daniels truly being back and the Commanders being at home for a Sunday night game, their first home game, by the way, since that Bears Monday night loss, is huge. Guys, the Commanders haven't played a home game, haven't played back-to-back home. Well, guys, they haven't played back-to-back home games all year long. They've had 8 games. Five of them have been on the road. They've played nothing but road games. They haven't been at home since October 13th. Prior to that, they haven't been at home since September 21st. The Commanders just don't play it, and obviously this is all going to sort itself out eventually. I think they technically have a home game in Germany or whatever, or Spain. I don't know where they're playing the Dolphins. I think that is technically a home game for Washington, which sucks that teams get stuck in that position, but it is what it is. They haven't played at home in a while, and we're looking at all these losses. Well, they go to Dallas and lose to Kansas City on the road, and yeah, they let one slip, right? That was, in my opinion, like a horrible loss. You can't take that loss to the Chicago Bears. And yeah, the Bears are playing better football with the exception of last week, but you can't lose that game to Chicago. You absolutely can't, and obviously they found a way to lose that football game. But I have a lot of faith in Jaden Daniels coming back. Yeah, no Terry McLaurin sucks. You've got to find something in the run game, regardless if that's McNichols or Bill, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. I don't know. I look at the Seahawks, and yeah, they're 5-2. They're not an impressive 5-2. They're really not. Steelers victory's good. Saints win, you blow them out. Cardinals win, you almost choked away, and yeah, you find a way to win. Good on you. Chad Ryland couldn't kick the ball in bounds. It's okay. You lose to Tampa, that's expected. Jacksonville victory on the road's good. Houston victory by 8 points. Like, you win the game. It's not that impressive of a win. Yeah, again, beating the Texans, good on you. The way in which they beat the Texans. Offense can't really move the ball in the second half. It's really dependent on Houston's mistakes. And yeah, again, Houston cut the lead to 15, or it was a 15-point game, and they cut the lead to 8, and the game really wasn't as close as the score indicates. But I don't know, it felt like a close game. It did. And I was like, in the commentaries kept saying that in that Texans-Seahawks game too, like, Seattle's keeping Houston in this football game. This game should not be anywhere close to being playable, but the Seahawks are just continuing to keep Houston in it. And eventually the Texans, tried to break through at the end of the football game. Obviously, Seattle wins it by 8 points. My point with all this being, though, you're taking the Seahawks to go cross-country, late-night game on the road. I think the Commanders can get it done here. And we don't even need them to win. We have Washington +3. Again, I think it's very possible, too. The Commanders outright just win the football game. I think it is. But giving them 3 points, I fully like Washington here. Jackson Smith-Njigba is, possibly the best receiver in football right now. I mean, look at the stats he's putting up, 100-plus yard games every single week. JSN is 820 yards in 7 games. It's absurd. What happens, though, if an offense just takes away, or defense just takes away JSN? Now, again, if I'm the Commanders, you do not put Marshawn Lattimore on Jackson Smith-Njigba, and I get it. The Commanders' secondary right now is injured. I understand. You got to find a way to just take the ball away or make someone else make plays on you other than JSN. Because if you can do that, you're in a great position. Because, I mean, who else do they have? Cooper Kupp, old-ass Cooper Kupp, A.J. Barner. A run game is, Kenneth Walker gets the ball down to the 1-yard line. Okay, let's punch it in with Zach Charbonnet. I'm not too impressed by Seattle. Defense is okay, sure. I think Jaden Daniels in a return spot here can be massive for the Commanders. I know no Terry McLaurin, but you got Debo, you got Luke McCaffrey, Zach Ertz, Chris Moore. Give me the Commanders. I'm going to go Washington +3. Again, I think they're very undervalued in this spot. I don't think people understand, it's a must-win spot for the Commanders. I mean, you go to 3-6, and then you get Detroit next week. Yeah, your season's probably over. You have to win this football game against Seattle at home on Sunday night. I think they do. Give me Washington Commanders +3 at home against the Seattle Seahawks. On to our final best bet of the week, and we are going to Monday Night Football. I am taking the Dallas Cowboys to cover 2.5 points in Jerry's World against the Arizona Cardinals. And I know the Cardinals have been cover kings all year long. They're like the Michigan State Spartans of the National Football League. They cover every week. Right? Packers game lose by 4 points. Colts game lose by 4 points. Seahawks game lose by 3 points. That game was even. Niners game lose by 1 point. The spread was 1.5. They cover every single week when they lose, except for the Titans game where they were big favorites and they lost because DeMercado dropped the ball at the goal line. Anyways, the Cardinals have lost 5 games in a row, and eventually, guys, there's going to come a night where they just get blown out. And styles make fights. I get it. They were really competitive against the Green Bay Packers. They only lose that game by 4. Hell, they kind of had the Packers. They went for it on 4th down at midfield. Jacoby Brissett QB sneak, and he got stuffed. If he gets that, Arizona probably beats Green Bay, and we're thinking about this game with Dallas in a whole new narrative. But stylistically, I don't like the matchup at all for the Arizona Cardinals. Yeah, they're going to score. They will score. How many times can you score, though? Eventually, you're going to make a mistake. Dallas, I know everyone's so critical on Dak Prescott and how poorly of a game he played against the Denver Broncos. Guys, you put almost every single quarterback in that environment, at altitude, in that environment in Denver, against that team and against that defense, they struggle, okay? Most quarterbacks can't walk into Denver and see much success. I mean, which quarterback has all year long? I mean, Jackson Dart might be the closest thing to that, and that might sound crazy, but nobody walks into Mile High and really dominates. Hell, when Tom Brady was playing, Tom Brady struggled at Mile High for the most part. I mean, he still saw some success because he's the GOAT, but you know what I mean, right? Good quarterbacks struggle in Denver, and I don't care that Dak Prescott struggled there against a very great defense. Cowboys are back this week. Last week before they go into the bye week, they have back-to-back Monday night games, which is so weird. Monday night here against Arizona, bye week, and then a game in Vegas on Monday Night Football where the cheapest ticket to enter the building is $450. Wow. I think that's the Cowboys' first game in Vegas, right? It has to be. I look at the spot. I'm like, I don't think Arizona is going to play a perfect football game. You know who I think is going to play a perfect football game? The Dallas Cowboys. They are so difficult to beat at home. Look at every game they've played at home this season. 40 points against the Giants, 40 points against the Packers, 44 points against the Washington Commanders. They have scored 40 in every single home game they have played this season. How many times all year long have the Arizona Cardinals scored 40 points? How many times have they scored 30 points? 0. The Cardinals haven't scored more than 27 points all year long. They scored 27 in Indianapolis and 27 in a home game against the Carolina Panthers. They don't score points. And I don't care if it's Jacoby Brissett. I don't care if it's Kyler Murray this week. They're not putting up 30-plus points against the Dallas Cowboys. I know the Dallas Cowboys are going to score 40 points. It's just what they do. Not to say the Cardinals won't see success. Guys, the Cardinals are going to score. I don't know who the starting quarterback is going to be. As of early in the week, Kyler Murray was throwing. I assume it's going to be Kyler Murray. Okay. Again, I think, honestly, I'd kind of rather it be Kyler. I don't, coming off an injury, hasn't been playing in a couple weeks. Brissett's been doing all right. If it's Kyler, I'm not too against this. I really hope nothing but the best for Kyler Murray, but I think the era of Kyler Murray playing in Arizona is slowly coming to an end. But actually, no, quickly coming to an end at this point. And I expect the run game to be huge for Arizona. I think Bam Knight's actually going to have a monster day against this run defense of Dallas that just got shredded by J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey last week in Dallas. And I'm not going to deny that. The Cowboys defense is god-awful. But at the same time, the Dallas Cowboys offense is unlike any other at home. They just score. In that dome, in that stadium, they keep on scoring points. They're going to keep scoring against the Cardinals. Trust me, they're going to score 40. 40 points against the Giants, 40 points against the Packers, 44 points against the Washington Commanders. And that big four of Dak Prescott, Javonte Williams, George Pickens, and CeeDee Lamb, they show up. And you might need to add Jake Ferguson to that big four-ish too. I know Ferguson had 0 catches for 0 yards last week on National Tight Ends Day, but Ferguson's still been a top 5 tight end in the National Football League this season. I know they're a 3-4-1 team, and I'm speaking like I have the utmost confidence about this team, but this is a team at home this season. They've only played 3 home games, and they're 2-0-1. 1 tie to the Packers and 2 wins over the Giants and Commanders, both of which they cover. Guys, they beat the Giants by 3 points. Well, that covers. We have 2.5 this week. I think this is a great line. I know Arizona's been so competitive in every single game they've played. Their only games, guys, every Cardinals game this year's been by 1 score, even in their wins. They beat the Saints by 7, the Panthers by 5, lose to the Niners by 1, Seahawks by 3, Titans by 1, Colts by 4, Packers by 4. They can still play a 1-score game here and not cover, and that's exactly what's going to happen. The Cowboys will win by at least a field goal, but in my personal opinion, the Cowboys are going to win by a lot more. It mainly comes down to me, Arizona can't keep up. And yeah, they've got weapons, don't get me wrong. Like, there's obviously Marvin Harrison, who's really having a better sophomore season than he did in his rookie year. Trey McBride is one of the most underrated players in football. He might be the best skillful tight end in the National Football League right now. Pure skill-wise, they need to feed him even more than they already do. This team's leading rusher is Kyler Murray right now, which is insane. It should be Bam Knight by the end of the night on Monday night, but we'll see. Obviously, Trey Benson comes back from injury next week. They released Michael Carter. DeMarcado is questionable. I don't know. Obviously, Michael Carter's on the practice squad, but all things considered, guys, I'm going Dallas Cowboys this week. I think the Cowboys easily take this game, and I think they're going to put up 40 points. So the question you need to ask yourself is, do you think the Cardinals can score 38? Hell no. Okay, Arizona's not putting up that many points. The Dallas Cowboys will make this look easy at home, and they should cover 2.5 points. I'm going with Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Javonte Williams, George Pickens, and Jake Ferguson to go out there at home in Jerry's World on Monday Night Football, win and cover against the Arizona Cardinals. It's just what Dallas does at home. They are one of the toughest teams to go play in their place all year long. Trust me, they're going to give the Eagles a lot of trouble. They're going to give the Chiefs a lot of trouble on Thanksgiving. They're such a good home team. Give me the Dallas Cowboys minus 2.5 at home against the Arizona Cardinals. Folks, thank y'all for watching our NFL best bets here for week number 9 of the NFL season. If you have not yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you disagree with any of the picks. We'll be back next week on Tuesday for our NFL full week 10 predictions, and again later tonight for our best player props for week number 9 as well. Folks, thank y'all for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. And Mamba forever.